Okay, we are now recording the June is 19th, 2020 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Juneteenth Day.
Absolutely. I actually just learned a little bit more about the origin of Juneteenth today. I can't repeat it because I don't know it that well, but I'm actually pleased to have now been exposed and understand that it exists.
Yeah, I knew that it existed. I did not know what it was about. And this year, the banks closed early in honor of that. So it's getting recognized. So yay for that.
Well, my degree was in history and I'd never heard of it before.
Okay.
It's fairly new. It started officially in 1980 in Galveston. The reason that we celebrated is because Galveston, Texas was the last place where the slaves were freed.
We're informed of it.
Right. Well, because it took looks like 18 months for it to travel from the time the Emancipation Proclamation was announced until the last people were informed.
Isn't that crazy about communication? In the 1800s, it took months to get information. And here we are all across the United States saying hi to each other.
And in real time.
Can you imagine if someone from that era was dropped into our society right now, how they would survive?
Yeah,
they probably survive a lot better than we do, honestly.
Probably.
I don't know. The Google Maps thing, where, because they had to send scouts out ahead of the wagons, the Conestoga wagons and everything. There was a book I read about a man who went around in Texas, Oklahoma and Texas, and he would read the news because a lot of people were not literate. And he would get copies of newspapers and he would go around and people would pay 10 or 15 cents to go hear him read the news.
Wow.
And I thought that would be a fun job to have, to go around and read the news to people. Not now, but.
See, technology. Go ahead, Matthew.
Actually, it really isn't, because if you think about it, since the PPP, that's kind of what I've been doing for about 10 cents an hour, is telling everybody about the
Yeah, back then.
I thought we would get through a whole Zoom without talking PPP. Didn't happen again.
Matthew's here.
It's a squirrel. It's a squirrel.
It's that squirrel sitting on your shoulder, Matthew.
That squirrel. I'm going to put him on a timeout.
There you go. So, Miss Linda, you have had an interesting week with your computer.
Yes, I turned on my Windows 7 desktop. I've lately started to turn all my computers off every night and turn them back on because Edison said I could save about $16 a year if I would turn the computers off every night and turn them back on in the morning. And I thought, well, $16, that's a cheap lunch out or something, So I'll try it and I'll just see if my bill goes down. I also moved over to time of use. In other words, my most expensive time of the day to use electricity is from 4 p.m. until 9 p.m. And I pay so much per kilowatt hour then, and the rest of the time it's a lot cheaper. So I try to do stuff outside
or anything that requires power.
Right.
Today, and that makes sense. That makes sense. It doesn't help with the air conditioning, but makes sense.
I don't use air conditioning.
Okay.
And Matthew, to some extent, can understand it, but he lives in a location where he gets a lot of ocean breezes. He's
supposed to, but apparently it's decided to skip over my house. I don't know, because it gets pretty hot here sometimes.
It can get up to 100 here, but my body has just adjusted to it. And I have fans. I have fans everywhere. And if you take off some of your clothes, not all of them, but some of them, and have that fan on you, you're doing pretty good. So I don't use the air.
So we got squirreled again, though.
I turned on the computer and it's Windows 7. Microsoft stopped supporting Windows 7 January 15th. And all of a sudden, my computer starts installing some kind of an update. I'm going like, what is going on? So it was some kind of an update. I call it run amok. And there we have read about Windows 10 updates lately, updating the computers and erasing data on the computers. And son of a gun, if this update didn't erase my user sign in, I was going as a user or an admin person on my computer. There was a guest account on my computer. It took every single folder and shortcut on my desktop off. It put it somewhere else. I've gotten it back since then. It's on this flash drive here that I bought at the store.
It's probably malware.
No, it wasn't. Well, I don't think so, because when I went into the control panel and I looked at the software and programs, the thing that had happened when I turned the computer on was a Microsoft Teams update. It had installed an update at that time. And it removed QBox, the software program QBox from my computer.
Oh, that's just unacceptable. We need to call Microsoft right now and let them know, like,
Yeah, and but it did not remove any of my QuickBooks programs. So it's like, it's just kind of weird. So what I did was I ended up, I just walked away from it.
You know what? Honestly, Linda, I think that's the best thing that you can do for the first moment until you get a plan. Because really, you're going to be trying to search around and you could be making problems worse.
That's what I thought. And then I thought, well, do I dare turn it off? You know? So I didn't turn it off. Anyway, I thought. I just didn't think consciously about it. But I started working on my laptop. Thank God I have a Windows 10 laptop. And I don't. The reason why I kept the Windows 7 is because I liked the way it worked, and I was used to it, and I knew how to make it work. I don't so much know how to make Windows 10 work.
Yeah.
So anyway, it just was really interesting. But I did talk to a couple of different IT people, and one of the two IT people I spoke to said they actually have a client they're working with now that it had that happen with Windows 10, that one of the Windows 10 updates run amok had done that to them. And I was going to kick out of this. This is really kind of funny. Their client, their system mirrors itself every night, like at midnight.
Right. That's a backup kind of thing.
Yeah. And so, but the people that this happened to didn't call him for 4 days. So what got mirrored? All the stuff that was wrong got mirrored over and over and over again.
And
so when they got there,
to another, right?
Yeah, I think it did. I think it actually did go through a network or something. I don't, at least mine aren't networked together. But I actually had called the beginning and they said, well, turn it off, unplug it, bring it over here, we'll look at it. They have all Linux computers. So they look at it with a Linux computer. And then we decided to put it on this. And when I got back home, I found that I had a hard drive. I have a Toshiba hard drive from when, and I thought, if I'm taking this desktop that just crashed over there, I have a whole bunch of other computers around my house that crashed different times. One was a Windows 7 laptop, and one was a Windows XP desktop. So I took those down, and he recovered everything from all of them. So nice. I now have it here, and I'm transferring it to the hard drive. So and I have to call Dell and buy a Windows 10 computer. So
I've just been looking at them right now, actually. There's some really, really good deals on Amazon on Dell computers.
Oh, really?
I'm a Dell person all the time. And
I like Dell. I've gone to other, but I don't know. It tends to be rather dependable. And I like driving Toyota cars. They're solid. They're dependable. They're not exciting, but they pretty much always work. And
Depends on who's driving.
Well,
but what I pretty much have decided I need is a Dell Windows 10 Professional. And I need the Windows 10 Professional because I'm running a $25 a month Microsoft 365. And the version I'm on, no, it's weird. I got to get them on the phone.
That Office, because we use Office 365, and it would work on either one. You're talking about 64-bit versus 32-bit when it comes to programs. And it'll run on any of the Dells. And with Windows 10, there's a Home, and then there's a Business Edition, or I'm sorry, Home and Pro. Pro is more expensive.
Yeah, I for some reason, I think the version of Microsoft 365 that I have, there is something like at least a dozen different versions of that.
Oh yeah.
And
but they never raise the price, so that's okay.
so anyway, so I want a Dell Windows 10 Pro. I need 12 gigabytes of RAM. If I have to get 16 in order to have the 12, I will. And I want an SSD drive. And other than that, I really don't much care. So
last week, we just ordered 2 new computers for my office. Most of my stuff is HP, and
okay,
we had big trouble with it, but I don't even remember what we got except for the 16 gig of memory and 17-inch monitors, and they're gaming computers. So they're gonna be faster, because a couple of the programs that are dashboards where you can have a whole bunch of the different apps connected to them, they take up a lot of processing power. And I really like having the dashboard apps, because then I'm not having to log into 15 different things in order. I just go to one place and everything's there.
Right.
So,
right.
So
that sounds good.
What dashboard app do you use that has 15 different things?
Oh, I use Station, and it's got way more than 15 different things.
What is it?
Resource hog, big time. Station.
Okay, and I'm not even familiar with
that.
Yeah,
the website is Get Station, but yeah, it is a huge resource hog. I have to turn it on.
Yeah, but if you have the equipment to run it, you're fine. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Matthew?
My computer. I thought I would get a setup just like Matthew's.
I'm sorry, say that again, Brandon.
I said, I've got to replace my computer too. I said, I thought I'd get a setup exactly like Matthew's.
Perfect. Matter of fact, I'll even help you get it. It happens to cost about $3,500, but I'll get to it.
That actually doesn't surprise me.
And if you give them a link, you'll get a little cut, right?
No, actually, I was thinking it means I could spend $1,750 on each one, and we'd both be happy. So.
Well.
Hey, Matthew, I have a question.
When Jamie priced out what we got, and he ran into a problem ordering it online where we couldn't get the 3-year accidental protection on there. I do, because I drop computers, and I've actually used that warranty before.
Okay.
But the best part with this one was that if you didn't use it, you got refunded the money that you spent on
cool.
it.
Nice.
So we
you mean on the insurance? They'd refund the insurance money. Oh, that's
nice. So but we ran into the problem, so Jamie got on the chat with them. We ended up saving another like $500 or $600 on the 2 computers that we ordered. Together it was just under $3,400 for both computers.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I thought we did really good.
Dennis, you have a question.
I have a question.
Let Dennis ask. Go ahead.
My question is, I'm thinking about buying a new Dell. Can I order one that has the solid state hard drive with the programs on it, and then have a slave drive put into?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you?
I believe so.
How do you indicate that? How do you indicate that when you order?
Well,
I would call them on the phone and talk to them myself.
Yeah.
So it used to be back in the day, like you could very easily just buy computers, and I would always buy like the base one because it's very
Yeah.
easy for you to you pop the side off, you put new RAM in, whatever, that kind of thing. But some of these different features, or especially RAM, it's gotten so expensive.
Yeah.
RAM is so expensive for DDR4, which is pretty common now. You're almost better off paying for the extra to have the higher RAM when you buy a computer right away.
Oh, yeah.
Because like solid state drives, if you price it out and look at it, they're really, really easy that stuff's easy to put in. It's usually just to snap it around, like unplug one thing, plug the other in.
Yeah.
If you're going, as long as you're not trying to go like a micro tower, ironically, like this is not micro, right? But this is
It's a tower.
like a pretty standard small size nowadays. But now they have them like as small as a book, where you hide it. And those will always have like extra ports, almost always in there to set it up. But I'd be happy with any of you guys, of course, always to just kind of take a peek at what it is that you need and try to guide you toward them. The other things to look at, like the processors, i3, i5, i7, i9. You look at that and how many cores they have. A core, so if it's like an i7, it has 8 cores. That means it has 8 cores times 2 means it's 16, basically 16 processors that can be
They can run at the same time and do different things.
So it's pretty intense, but the solid state drive is really important because that loads faster.
Yeah.
So you use solid state drive to have your programs on, and that will make everything like run more efficiently. Especially for me, like for video, all the video stuff I do.
Oh yeah.
That's where
That's what I did with I had to have my hard drive on this computer crashed, so I had to take it in. I put in all the programs are on the solid state, and it loads a lot faster.
yeah.
But then I got a gigabyte hard drive so that I can store other stuff on it, or if I want to store backups or whatever. But I think the solid state was like about 500 gigs.
It depends on like so it's a good point that if you pay for a bigger solid state right away, most laptops will come with like a 50 gigabyte solid state, maybe like 100 gigabyte solid state, because they're expecting that's enough to run programs, and it is initially. But as you put more things on, unless you are really, really, really good at always saving everything to the cloud, you will use that up.
Yeah.
So that's the hardest part. And so laptop versus desktop is the other aspect of it. But Dells just work. I mean, I just don't ever have problems with them. If I have to fix something, I can still get pieces. They do the job every time.
Yeah, mine have lasted quite a while, my Dells.
And mine have too.
Yeah.
I've used Dells and HP and have had good luck with both of them.
I have
I've had computers that were duds. I just figure those were the ones that were made on a Monday after a holiday.
could very well be. I have a question for people. I have this Windows laptop. All right, it's a Dell. I bought it a year ago at Costco. Okay, but it's Windows 10 Pro, and it's got a solid state drive, and it's probably got 8 gigabytes of memory. It might have 12.
Actually, I remember when you got it, actually.
Yeah, now I have a LaserJet, an HP LaserJet multi-function printer.
Yep.
How can I connect my laptop to that? The laptop does not seem to have any kind of an Ethernet connection.
It won't. It's going to have a USB connection. There's going to be 2 ways. Either your specific printer will have a Wi-Fi functionality to it, which means you connect that to your router, and then you can connect.
How would I find out if there was Wi-Fi in it?
You would have to, if you grab the model number and put in the chat, we could try to take a look at it a little bit later. But the option is it would have a USB that will, on one side, it's like a bigger, rounder one that goes into the printer.
It's like a square?
Exactly.
Yes, I saw that. And then
normal USB.
Oh, the other end would be, see, and then there's some other things here that are, this is an HG, is that, so that would go out to TV, something with an HG?
HDMI, yeah.
That's it, HDMI. And there's something else. Oh, you know, it looks like a network cable. Oh, maybe you open that up and it is an Ethernet.
Yeah, it'll expand more, but we can, another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Well, but the thing is, I need to print something tonight. So if I don't,
Oh,
I'm in
then you got
class
it, yeah.
tomorrow.
So
And
that
they emailed me like, oh, I want to just wring their little necks. But I figured I could take this and take all the folders, and put a folder and go down to Staples and have Staples printed. But I thought, wouldn't it, when you get the emails that say 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3. Oh, okay. Yeah. What's that one? I got that one. The one that goes up and down like
your
that.
internet. Okay.
For the internet.
Ether.
So it either goes in that way or your best.
Oh, so my Ethernet cable will work.
Okay, well, Linda, we'll continue this.
Good.
We'll continue
Okay.
this when we're not recording.
Got it. Sounds good. Sorry. I appreciate that. So anyway, I recommend, and then the other thing that we came up with as a solution for this Windows update run amok is to turn off the Windows 10 automatic updates, but to have them always notify you when it comes in. And then you have 2 computers with Windows 10, you install it on one of the 2 computers. And if it installs fine, then you install it on the second one. If not, you then try to figure out what you're going to do.
So that's why I always have at least 2 computers in my office,
Yeah.
Always.
because you just never know what's going to happen. And as a just standard operating procedure, I have always turned off the Windows automatic updates. Notify me first, because Windows has this inane, like the lawnmower outside, Windows knows the exact moment that is the most inconvenient to decide to install an update, and then that's the one that takes the hour to install.
Right, and here you are trying to finish something up and you can't even get to it.
Right. When I turn on my computer, there's a reason. I got a thing to do, and that thing is not fix Windows.
Tell me about it.
But I do periodically restart my computer and install the updates. So that becomes a process I do, every so often. At least once a week, I'll look and see if new updates have come in.
Right.
The same thing could be said for QuickBooks updates.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, QuickBooks updates, I tell my clients to wait 30 days.
The
And
last
they at least notify you. They
Yes.
don't install automatically.
The last QuickBooks 2019 update I had to do because I couldn't run payroll without doing it.
Oh, that's true.
And
That's true.
then I can't keep QuickBooks open. It keeps crashing.
Ugh.
So
Ah.
I couldn't even open QuickBooks 2020 program files without 2019 crashing that. So I had to completely remove QuickBooks 2019 from my computer. And everything was working really smoothly and really great until I got a client that we need a file share, and they used 2019.
Oh.
So I downloaded it on my computer, and since yesterday, it seems to have only crashed it 3 times. Fun. So we've lost Matthew. He went away. He must be on the phone. He was going to talk about this cool new app that has squirreled him.
Oh, that's right. He was, wasn't he? Well, maybe he might have just visited the restroom. He does it. I like that picture of him. It looks really sharp.
Looks handsome. So Linda, tell us what's happening with Woodard tomorrow.
Well, with Woodard, he's doing a do more with less. And basically, he's probably going to be talking about Microsoft 365 and how they've implemented that. They do not use the phones hardly at all anymore. The phones just automatically do something, but they don't like answer them per se as like answering a phone. And they use the Teams a lot. And he has worked out systems that are unbelievably automatic, and you can search to find anything. And the big thing he did with the zero inbox in 24 hours, and I loved this system because I used it, and I have like 6 different emails. Okay. And I keep everyone, my boxes are not to 0, but they're to 1 page. So whatever size computer I'm on, I have that many emails. The rest are all in folders. And basically what he said to do, because if you look at people that struggle with this, many of them have emails going back to 2010. Many of them have, like, as a matter of fact, I have clients, like, most of them have the point where the email gets to the point where they can't receive any more emails because the email box is full and overflowing.
It's so full.
Yeah, and basically what happens is they have emails that go back to 2010, say. So what he suggests you do is you make a folder for, you pick a time. Like, let's just say, okay, it's 2020 now. I'm going to make a folder that's 2015 and before. And anything that's dated before 2015, I'm going to put into that folder. And then you might make one for 2016, 2017. You can figure out how you're going to do it. And you just move them then in bulk to those folders. And then you go through those folders. Or you can just, better yet, just say, you know, anything before 2018 that I haven't put in a folder, I'm deleting it. If I got
That's
something,
my policy. If you haven't used it
2018
in
or
2
before,
years,
it's gone. Because you
bye-bye.
know what? You've probably sent me another one since then anyway.
Then
So-
right. If it was important, you would have addressed it and you would have put it somewhere else. So I
Yeah.
asked Dennis, how old do you have emails?
I don't know, probably back 2016. I don't know. I haven't really looked. I sort of out of sight, out of mind.
Well, so when you go into your email box, does it tell you you have so many emails in it?
Yeah, like it's got 67,000 or something like that.
And but that doesn't bother you.
No,
You can just kind of look at that and say, well, that's nice.
I figured if it
See,
was
I
important.
look at that and I go, oh my God, I have to do something with it.
No, I figured if it was important, somebody would have called me or, you know.
Gotten in
I
touch some other
I
way.
get a lot of junk mail, and so
And you don't get rid of it.
it would take me more time to get rid of my junk mail than just to, you know, just ignore it. Like I say, I figure if it's important, they'll call me or I'll hear from them or whatever.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I just learned to get rid of it. And for me, it's very helpful. For somebody like Dennis, it isn't, but if your box fills up and you can't get any more emails, then
Yeah,
it's
just get another email account.
I said something about inbox 0 right here, when I was sitting right here, and my email reached out and slapped me, and I said, I'll never do that again.
I suppose you could mark everything as spam or
I've
something.
got
So
11,314 unread emails. But as long as I keep them there, I've got them.
Right.
I
So that's what the
can
problem
really
is. When you archive them, they go in some kind of digital black hole, never to see the light of day again. You can try searching anything you can think of, but that thing will not come back. So that's why, yeah.
there have been times when I've had to go back a couple of years to get a registration number or, you know.
And you can find them, okay.
I can find them.
Good.
So it's kind of like every now and then I need it, as opposed to I would have take me an hour a day just to keep
Is
up
that
on my
bye or
email.
hello? I guess Matthew was busy and that was bye.
Yeah.
We will talk about his new app next
week. Yes. So everybody deals with the email thing differently. If you're bothered by it, though, Joe has a good system, and I liked it. I actually put it in place, and I'm very happy with it. What about Larry? Larry hasn't said anything about how many emails he has.
Way too many.
Many. Okay, got it. So,
Just too lazy to go back and go
Yeah.
through. Oh, what
Yeah.
a mess.
Yep,
You know,
that's
a
the way I
few
look at
years
it.
a few years ago, I seen a program or an ad for a program, which would go through your emails and help you. I mean, you had to set it up, but it would process them in different categories and under different labels.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. And I tried, that's Roll Up or something like that from Gmail.
Oh, actually, I did the roll-up one, and I got rid of it.
Didn't work for you?
Well, no, I didn't. There was something about it I didn't like. Oh, it had its own like trash folder that I didn't realize, and it was putting a lot of stuff in its own little trash folder. And when I discovered it, and it had like 10,000 emails, I like got really upset and blew up, and I deleted the whole thing.
And that was that.
Yeah, and it was nice in that I could say, let this one go through my inbox, keep this one in roll up, and go unsubscribe to these other ones. And it was nice.
Right,
It saved me
right.
time
And
there.
that was what it was good for. All those things that you subscribe to that,
Yeah.
you use the product once and then forever you get emailed to death and you never
Yes.
really look at them, and that just clogs up your email. I think
Right.
along with that was Boomerang. I don't know if you remember Boomerang for your email.
Don't they still have that?
I still have that on some accounts. Again, it was one of those, in theory, it sounds a lot better than in practice. It
Uh-huh.
ended up being more work to maintain for me.
Well,
'Cause
that's the whole thing. I mean, there's an investment of time, money, and energy to stay on
To
top of this.
learn.
And so
Right,
what's the
right, right.
does that investment equal the value of
that you
time
get
saved,
out of it.
as opposed to just ignoring it and
Right,
you figure it
Right.
just go away anyway.
right,
Well,
exactly.
yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the way your mind works.
Yeah.
You
I mean-
know what I mean? If you can ignore it and it's not always there in the back of your mind.
Well,
For me, that's a loose end. And it's
Well,
like, I probably
Feels
wouldn't
like you
even
have to do
sleep at
something
night.
right.
Yeah, well, like
Yeah, it's like. yeah,
my first
yeah.
job, I realized that I could not do everything, and so I would just let things go, and whoever screamed the loudest would get addressed. And
Got it.
like it has a shelf date. I mean, a lot of these messages, and if you ignore it, then it just gets buried. And so, what's the point of trying to stay on top of it if it's just
Got
trying
it.
to stay on top of junk?
Yeah, well, I just get rid of all
Okay.
the junk.
One
So, I'm
last
good.
thing
What's that?
before we go. Qbox now has something called Scanbox, and they're looking for beta testers.
Yes, I saw that.
I put the link for that in our group if you're looking to do some beta testing. Looks like
Okay.
a pretty good program. Looks fun. I've tried it. I've beta tested it a little bit. And what it does is it automatically brings receipts into your QBO file. So right now it's working with QBO. They do have plans on bringing it up with QuickBooks Desktop. But right now, if you're looking for something to play with and have a little bit of fun, be a beta tester. Check it out.
Yeah,
You get a
it's
free
true.
account.
And they're a great company to work with anyway.
Absolutely. I love Qbox.
Yeah.
So anything that they do, I'm in. So
Yeah, yeah.
anything
So I
else?
think I have another client going on to Qbox this
Nice.
month. So.
Nice.
I
Anything?
learned you have to pay attention when you're setting up a new client on Qbox, because I accidentally put somebody as a subfolder in one of, like, a deep subfolder in my folder instead of creating or putting it on their own level. And the only way to move it is to create the new folder, move the QuickBooks company files into the new folder, and then delete
Yeah,
the wrong one. You can't just quickly drag and drop them. So
right. Yeah, I saw that this week. I saw that and I thought, oh, well, you evidently have a lot more clients. I have 6 folders. So, and this person, I've got them convinced that would cost them the same if they go get their own account as if I make a folder for them and they use, and I charge them.
Qbox is so cheap that
Yeah, that's my thought
and
too.
I make all my clients get their own in case
Yeah.
I'm no longer their advisor.
That's
They
right.
want, it's
That's
one
right.
less thing that I have to detangle.
Yes, yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like if anything happens to me when I go to for my operation, somebody would have to untangle the Q-Bucks subscriptions.
right, right. Along with a
Um,
lot of other things that you can't think of off the top of your head.
Right. A lot of things I have taken care of, but a lot of things aren't. And
Right.
on all my new computers, I'm now going to, when the computer says, do you want us to memorize that password? I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes, 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 so that when my daughter has to come deal with the computers, all the passwords are memorized. So,
No, a better solution is to use a software like 1Password or LastPass or
Yeah.
DashPass
Yeah.
and save all your passwords there because it's a lot more secure
It's more
than.
yeah, I don't, at this point, I don't care how secure it is. Because everything else has passwords on, like all the QuickBooks files, which
My
is,
cyber insurance and carrier cares how secure I keep all my stuff.
right.
But
I got that, but you have a practice as such. I have like 5 clients.
Yeah.
So, and everything that I have of theirs is password protected. And I have it out on like either Smart Vault or ShareFile or something. So it's all password protected and it's all very secure. And the stuff on my computers, it doesn't need to be secure. I don't have any insurance, so my insurance provider can't, not for that. I have life insurance.
All righty. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before we end?
Have a great weekend. Really.
Oh,
It's
Great
been a
weekend,
tough
everyone.
week.
weekend.
All righty. Same time, same place, next
Yes,
week.